Hi, I'm Grandma Williams. Welcome to Grandma's house. We're making some men's soap. I'm going to call it Temptation. We left off with the last video putting our soap in a quart pot and melting it down. Our soap is melted. I'm using a spoon to stir it. And normally you can see that skim on the top there. That's normally an indication that it's ready for you to pour. I've already used my temperature reader and it is ready. Just stirring it up one more time. Never leave your pot on the burner if you have kids and animals. Unplug it, take it to the kitchen, put it at high so they don't get burnt. You will regret it once they get burnt, so please don't do that. They don't know any better, but you do. Anyway, our soap is in the pot melted. The next step we're going to do is go ahead and use our dye, and we're going to put, I think, about 5 or 6 drops. Well, we better put more because that's a whole loaf there we're making. So we'll just put in some, just like this, not a bunch of dots there. Make sure our soap's going to be nice and blue. It's up to you how much dye you want to put in, really. And then I'm going to stir it up and hold on to my handle. And a pretty blue. Like I said, you can put in all the different dyes you want, but be careful when you stir. Still, when you stir your pot, so that don't come splattering back at you. Sometimes I get carried away and get excited and not watching what I'm doing, and all of a sudden I've got hot candle wax on my finger. And it burns, it's hot. But I'm going to stir this up to where I get it all mixed up. Yeah, that's a film there that's a little white on top. As the soap begins to cool, it'll try to start hardening on you. So keep the soap base moving as you stir. Once your dye is in there and stirred all the way completely, you're going to remove the spoon, of course. And now I'm going to add my Aqua Velva aftershave. And you can buy this at any store that sells it. Pretty much I got mine at Winn-Dixie, I think, or Walgreens or Walmart. One of those stores, I don't remember. And I'm going to use 3/4 of this. This here is a 3.5 ounce bottle, and I'm going to use 3/4 of this. Uh-oh. Cannot come out wherever you are. We'll get it. I like this one because it's got a plastic insert that will come out. You just got to work with it. There you go. And we're just going to go ahead and pour 3/4 of that in there. And we're going to go ahead and stir that up. We're going to be making a loaf pan, and we'll be cutting into sections 10 soap bars. Always remember the degree temperature for melting soap base is 160 to completely melt every bit of that soap base. And always remember, you don't want to pour into your loaf pan until your temperature is reading 130, no more than 135. Now that it's all mixed, I'm I'm going to take my ladle and I'm going to scoop some of this up, being careful not to let it spill everywhere, and get as much as this into this old tea pitcher that I saved. I knew it'd come in handy for something one day. I just don't want to pick up that whole pot and turn it over to that loaf pan that go all over the place. You can use whatever you have in your house. I'm using this. Just enough to get it off the top there. Then I'm going to pick the rest of it up here. And pour almost all of it in there. And then I'm going to transfer it here in my loaf pan. That's enough. And with our alcohol bottle, we're going to spray and get these bubbles going. I don't like bubbles on my stove. Sometimes they can be stubborn, and sometimes that film can really mess your stove up if you don't get it out. I think I got mine out. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we're going to let that sit for about an hour. I'm going to put it in the freezer for 30 minutes, but no longer. What that does, the freezer will allow that to harden more, and it also be more easier for you to remove the insert from the from the loaf of soap. And I'll be back and see you in the next video.